Hello everyone and welcome back to Law Statistics. I hope you all are doing well. Today's presentation is based on the topic taxation. So let's proceed towards the presentation. In order to run the government and manage affairs of a state, money is required. So the government imposes taxes in many forms on the income of individuals and companies. Broadly, taxes are divided into two categories. First is the direct taxes and secondly the indirect taxes. Direct taxes, a tax that is paid directly by an individual or organization to the imposing entity. A direct tax cannot be shifted to another individual or entity. The individual or organization upon which the tax is levied is responsible for the fulfillment of the tax payment. Indirect taxes, on the other hand, can be shifted from one taxpayer to another. A taxpayer pays a direct tax to a government for different purposes, including real property tax, personal property tax, income tax, or taxes on assets, FBT, gift tax, capital gain tax, etc. Now is the indirect taxes. The term indirect taxes has more than one meaning. In the colloquial sense, an indirect tax such as sales tax, specific tax, value added tax or goods and services tax is a tax collected by an intermediary from the person who bears the ultimate economic burden of the tax. The intermediary later files a tax return and forwards the tax proceeds to the government with the return. In this sense, the term indirect tax is contrasted with a direct tax which is collected directly by government from the persons, legal or natural, on which it is imposed. Now is the sum of the important direct taxes. First is the fringe benefit tax. In order to reduce the profit on booked entry, many companies started providing various benefits to their employees and maintain them under their input cost, thus reducing the profit, which in turns lead to less taxation by the government. Therefore, government imposed fringe benefit tax, which is fundamentally a tax that an employer has to pay in lieu of the benefits that are given to his/her employees. It was an attempt to comprehensively levy tax on those benefits which evaded the tax. The list of benefits encompassed a wide range of privileges, services, facilities, or amenities which were directly or indirectly given by an employer to current or former employees. Now is the minimum alternative tax. The concept of MAT was introduced in the direct tax system to make sure that companies having large profits and declaring substantial dividends to shareholders but who were not contributing to the government by way of corporate tax, by taking advantage of the various incentives and exemptions provided in the Income Tax Act, pay a fixed percentage of book profit as minimum alternative tax. As per as the Income Tax Act, if a company's taxable income is less than a certain percentage of the book profits, then by default that much of the book profits will be considered as taxable income and has to be paid on that. It was introduced in order to deter some companies who manage their account in such a way that they end up paying zero or no tax to the government. Current rate of MAT is 18.5%. Now is the alternate minimum tax. Under the existing provisions of the Income Tax Act, minimum alternate tax and alternate minimum tax are levied on companies and limited liability partnerships respectively. That means what is MAT to the companies, AMT is to the LLPs. However, no such tax is levied on the other form of business organizations such as partnership firms, sole proprietorship, association of persons, etc. In order to widen the tax base, vice versa, profit linked deductions, it is proposed to amend provisions regarding AMT contained in the Income Tax Act to provide that a person other than a company who has claimed deduction under any act other than Section 80P shall be liable to pay AMT. Now is the indirect taxation in India: production of goods, excise or CANVAT, distribution of goods, sales tax, production and distribution of services because they can't be separated. Now is the service tax. In India, generally taxes are production or manufacturing excise is levied by the center and taxes on sales is levied by the states. Now is the indirect taxation in India. First is the excise duties. Excise duty is a tax on manufacture of goods within the country. Excise duties are levied under the Central Excise and Salt Act 1944, the Excise Tariff Act 1985, and the modified value added tax scheme or CANBIT. Whereas the rates of excise duty levied vary depending inter alia on the nature of item manufactured, the nature of the manufacturing concern, and the place of ultimate sale. The duty rates are either ad valorem specified rate depending on the nature of the manufactured item, for example, length of product or count of product, or a combination of both. The Modbet scheme introduced in 1986 on the recommendation of the L.K. Jha Committee applies to certain specific items. Secondly is the sales tax. Sales tax is levied on the sale of a commodity which is produced or imported and sold for the first time. If the product is sold subsequently without being processed further, it is exempt from sales tax. Sales tax is levied by either the central or the state government. Central sales tax or 4% is generally levied on all interstate sales. State sales tax that apply on sales made within the state have rates that range from 4 to 15%. However, exports and services are exempt from sales tax. Thirdly is the service tax. Service tax is a part of central excise in India. It is a tax levied on services provided in India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The responsibility of collecting the tax lies with the Central Board of Excise and Custom, that is the CBEC. Now is the taxation systems. First is the value added tax. Value added tax or VAT is an indirect tax which is imposed on goods and services at each stage of production starting from raw materials to final product. VAT is levied on the value added at different stages of production. VAT is widely applied within the European countries. However, now a number of countries across the globe have adopted this tax system. GST, which is to be implemented in India, is nothing but a kind of VAT system only. Now is the GST, that is the goods and services tax, which is introduced recently. The goods and services tax is a value added tax to be implemented in India, the decision on which is pending. It will replace all indirect taxes levied on goods and services by the Indian central and state governments. It is aimed at being comprehensive for most goods and services with few tax exemptions. India is a federal republic and the GST will thus be implemented concurrently by the central and state governments as the central GST and the state GST respectively. The implementation of GST will lead to the abolition of other taxes such as octroi, central sales tax, state level sales tax, entry tax, stamp duty, telecom license fees, turnover tax, tax on consumption of sales of electricity, taxes on transportation of goods and services, thus avoiding multiple layers of taxes that currently exist in India. Now is the Laffer curve, invented by Arthur Laffer. This curve shows the relationship between tax rates and tax revenue collected by governments. The curve suggests that as taxes increase from low levels, tax revenue collected by the government also increases. It also shows that tax rates increasing after a certain point would cause people not to work as hard or not at all, thereby reducing tax revenue. Eventually, if tax rates reached 100%, the far right of the curve, then people would choose not work because everything they earned would be going to the government directly. That's all for the news. Thank you and have a great day ahead.